Now, today's session is about where you are in your journey and what is it that you need to do to get to your next stage or next level, okay? And the thinking pattern behind that, okay? Muzzy, this is actually interesting for you, and you might have already read this, but it's actually very interesting for you to start looking at it from your perspective, okay? You look at the likes of Uber or Amazon or Rightmove or Zoopla, let's say, yeah? Uber, Amazon, Rightmove, Zoopla, doesn't really matter. You pick up any of these larger companies, right? Rightmove, Zoopla does not own any assets, right? They don't, okay? They're still the largest UK-based property tech company. Likewise, Airbnb doesn't own anything, right? Any of their assets. They are the biggest in the world, right? Uber doesn't own any cars. They don't even employ drivers. They're the biggest cab company in the world, okay? Facebook doesn't create any content, okay? None of that, okay? So when you start looking at your business, and I know depending on the stage you might be at, you got to make sure that you're paying your bills. That's the priority, right? If you look at the Tony's hierarchy, you do need your certainty, right? You need to have the money coming in, right? That's absolutely fine. But while you're doing that, can you invest an hour of your time a week? A week. Can you do that? Can you take out an hour of your time in a week? Yeah. To look at your business and say, how does the formula of Airbnb apply to me, to my business? You invest that 1 hour a week. By the end of the year, how many hours is that? 50? Yeah. Do you think investing 50 hours of your time will bring you some results in that direction? Some results? Yeah. Muzzy, you're muted.
Yeah, I was going to say absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so why did I pick up initially the hierarchy taught by Tony Robbins, which is certainty? Yes, you do need your certainty in terms of being able to have the cash flow and the money coming in. Okay, it's not just the money coming in. When you get to a certain level, it's more about cash flow, right? I think you're at that point. It's not just about the income coming in. Yes, you need that, but it's more about now cash flow, because you know the money is coming in. You just want to make sure that you can balance the cash flow. Okay, same with me. It doesn't really matter how much money the income is coming in. Now I got to balance the cash flow, because I'm not paying salaries. I'm paying for the tech. I'm paying for lots of other things, right? I'm paying for research and development. I'm paying for the creative stuff that I'm doing in my business, right? Okay. But at the same time, while you're doing that, you got to invest in, remember, every business in the world, irrespective of who you are, either you are a person, you're still a business. Even if you do a job, right? Let me give you an example. Even if you do a job, right? You still have to bring the money in. And likewise, if you run a business, you still have to bring the money in. Okay? You're still at the core of business, even if you do a job. Because in business, like you can lose clients or properties, in job, you can lose your job, right? So at the core, if you look at your life, we are all in business. Okay? If you don't go to your job and you don't perform well, what happens? You lose the job, right? Likewise, you walk into your business and you don't perform well, what happens? You don't make money. So irrespective of if you are in a job or you are in running a business, you're still in business, right? You're still a business owner. A business is your life in and itself, okay? You got to treat it like that. But in the same context, while you're trying to bring money and make sure that there's certainty of money coming in, you got to invest time in your business, which is your life, to create something that actually brings in a major chunk of money at some later stage. Yes, no? Muzzy? Can you hear me, Muzzy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So while you are making that money, while you're trying to earn an income and pay your bills and have that certainty of income coming in, if you're not investing time into the dissected ideas of business that actually work, are you doing an effective job as a leader of your business?
Probably
That's a
not.
question, Mazi. Okay.
Yeah, that would be a no.
If you're running a business and now you need money to improve your cash flow so you could scale, improve your cash flow so you could bring in the technology and the systems, if you're not able to raise funds, are you doing an effective job as a leader?
No.
Okay, so there are 4 skills, and this is coming from my own personal experience. This is not coming from an author, a book, a speaker, none of that. This is coming from me. This is my, in fact, I'm about to launch a book on this, right? These are the initial steps of these. There's 4 things you need as an entrepreneur. It doesn't really matter if you're in property business or you're in a different business. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Morning, Esther. We have Suraj, Pami, Mazi, Lavanya, Kalpana, Jennifer, Harry, Geeta, Esther, Emmanuel, Chetan. Thank you, guys. So we need 4 things as an effective entrepreneur or as an effective leader. Okay. The first thing is we need to be creative. Okay. That means that if you are in a business that's just run of the mill, don't expect better results. Okay. You're going to have to be creative. You need to be creative. You'd want to be creative. What do I mean by creative? How can you be more creative? Okay. So there's 4 things. One is being creative. Second is being able to raise funds. So pitching. Third is your marketing and strategy. And 4th is your leadership skills. Okay. So it stands on 4 pillars, like the 4 wheels of a car. Okay. You have the first step, which is coming up with a creative idea. That means even if you, let's say, run a serviced accommodation business, how are you more creative than other competitors? What are you bringing new to the industry? Or are you just going to compete in the normal industry? Are you just going to start another serviced accommodation business run of the mill? That's your first step. Okay. And I'm giving it in the context of Mazi at the moment. This applies to any context. Okay. What is it that you are doing different? And if you don't find anything now, keep working on it, because till you don't have a clear answer to this, you do not have a business. Okay. You physically do not have a business. You may be able to scale a run of the mill business, but I promise you, you will hit a plateau and you'll give up, or you'll just sell your business. Raise your hand. How many business in 100 do you know that actually hit a plateau and either never scale or give up or sell or whatever? Raise your hand. Can you give me a percentage, Mazi?
Of the ones that I know, it's probably about 60%.
It's almost 97%.
Wow.
Okay. So the 97% of the businesses that you see in the world either never scale because they don't know how to scale, or they hit a plateau and they don't know how to go beyond that, or they end up giving up or selling their business. Okay, that's 97% of the businesses. Now the question is, do you want to be the top 3%? Okay. The first step always is, can you answer the question, how are you going to stand out? Now, you might be right at the start of your business. You might be at very initial stages. You might not have even started. It doesn't really matter. Okay? It doesn't really matter. But if you're starting out, and if you cannot answer the question that, how does your business stand out from the rest of the competition? Please don't start. You're going to give up. You're going to get fed up. You're going to literally cry every night to why the hell did I start a business? Okay? Because all that's going to happen is you're going to compete with the rest of the market and you're going to sit at home and say, well, I'm not making enough money. Okay? Anyone has any questions about this? And I'll share with you how to be more creative, how to look for ideas that will help you stand out. I will help you with that. But do you have any questions so far?
I'm okay, thank you.
All good, thanks, mate.
Okay, so how can you be more creative? Simple question. Do different things. Expose yourself to different things. Read more books, right? You go through the same road every day. Why not go through a different road to the same destination that you go every day? Why take the same road? Why go to the same holiday destinations? Why expose yourself to the same culture? Why expose yourself to the same people that you speak with every day? Why do the same things every day? Expose yourself to new every single day on a conscious level. Every day. I do that every day. Okay. Either it is through books or the people that I speak with, the kind of business ideas that I look at, the kind of business ideas that I dissect. Literally every single day on a conscious level, I'd walk out and try and walk in a different direction. Okay. That's how you become more creative. But the biggest trick is reading more books. I must say that. Okay. Like literally you would read more and you become more creative. There's nature and nurture. And I was sharing this with Muzzy yesterday. Being creative is about it's nature and nurture. If you're inherently or if you're biologically more creative, great, good for you. I wasn't. I had to acquire the skills, which is nurture, to be able to become more creative, to look at ideas, to look at business and say, how can we look at this more creatively and bring something that is not being used by the rest of the market? Does that make sense? Okay. It literally applies to any situation that you're in. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to take some situations, right? Let's say we have Harry. He's with you. Very similar formula. How do you stand out in terms of your, in terms of your service accommodation, being able to, put something that's new pictures. Can you provide something? For example, the other day I sent a link in the group of a website called Art-B&B, which is a hotel designed by designers. Every single room is designed by a different designer. And it runs at full 100% occupancy, Mazi. It's called artbnb.org. Okay. I have a feeling that every designer, instead of being paid upfront, they've been given shares in the room. Does that make sense? So every room in and itself is a business, and they've been given shares in that room. So it's almost like for every night booked, you'll get £1, which is royalty for the rest of the time. But they've designed the rooms 100% occupancy because that hotel is pretty much all over the news. Okay. Is that very difficult? It's not rocket science, right? Very, very easy. Okay. I'm just looking at different contexts here. Arvind, for example, you here, in your situation, when you are buying these properties and you're looking to do the renovation, what is it that you can do differently, like making them more smart, making them more greener, what is it that you can bring? So as soon as you start and you bring your CGIs, which is computer generated images, and you put it out in the market, that it sells pretty quickly at a premium.
Yeah.
How do you stand? So this applies to literally any situation. It doesn't really matter what situation you're in. Okay. Companies who are able to scale to a larger level are the ones who bring innovation, the ones which bring creativity, bring products and services which actually stand out, and try to play the long-term game. You may not get traction for the first few months, a year, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 10 years later, the likes of moonpig.com. Raise your hand if you know moonpig.com. 1997 launch. No one knew about the damn company for almost 13, 14 years. Okay. Now they're a multi-million man company. The first 13, 14 years, they barely existed. Okay. It's a long-term game. But if you look at their formula and what they do, they pretty much stand out in what they do. Okay. Always be creative. Like I said, the only way to be creative is do different things. Speak with different people. Surround yourself with more creative people. Look at completely do different things. And like I said, the most important thing in being creative is reading or listening to more books. Okay. Or for that matter, speaking with more creative people as well. Okay. Because people are people, right? They'll share with you what they're doing, and you kind of dissect their thinking pattern and say, wow, how did you come up with this idea? How did you look at this gap? Raise your hand if you know what I mean. strategic gaps, right? I just need everyone to understand this. Strategic gaps, being more creative, being able to find something that's out of the ordinary to be able to bring to your business, and then be able to work on that. Anyone has any questions on this? The first pillar, I call it the first pillar. Like I said, guys, this is my formula. It's not copied. This is literally coming from my experience. Okay. Anyone has any questions on this? You understand strategic gaps, you understand creativity, and then you know that you can nurture. I insist on nurture your creativity, allowing you to come up with more ideas, allowing you to scale your business and not just hit a plateau, or for that matter, keep competing in the rest of the market. Okay. Very, very important. The second pillar is being able to pitch. So being able to raise external funds. Okay. Now, here is a question for everyone here. Okay. Now, some of you guys already know that we are collaborating and we're working on buying something together, right? How did I create this family? Tell me. Muzzy, I started with you. Tell me, how did I create this family?
And thanks for reiterating that I was the first one again.
But how did I do it?
How or why?
How? Why is obvious that I want to do what I want to do and achieve what I want to achieve, but at the same time help other people in the process help achieve what they want to achieve. Yes, that's pretty obvious.
I would say the how is how you portrayed yourself, and then we got attracted to you.
That's true. Is it about value, bringing value?
Yeah.
So when you're pitching, the most important thing is the value you bring on the table. Okay. Remember, it's when you are pitching people for money, it's almost nothing to do with you. Yes, it is to do with your character and your integrity and your personality. All of that is there, but it's a lot more about the value you bring on the table. Okay. It's what's new you're bringing on the table. It's how you're going to help someone else improve their life is what is the most important thing when it comes to pitching. Okay. If you go online and if you look at the pitch decks of the likes of Airbnb and, Slack, or, you'd be surprised. These companies, when they were doing, they were pitching and they did the first round of their finance, some of them did 10 million, 5 million, 20 million, or whatever that may be. You can find their pitch decks online. Okay. For absolutely free. Okay. Very, very simple. Go on Google, write Slack, Airbnb, pitch decks. You will literally download them for absolutely free. And you'll be surprised how simple they are. Like literally super, super, super simple. And all you are going to find in that is they are pitching on the basis of strategic positioning, how unique they are, and the value they bring on the table. Okay. It's almost like someone invests £1 today, and 10 years later, can they make it into 100? Or they invest £100, can they make it into a 10,000? Or they invest 10,000, can they make it into $1 million? Does that make sense? Okay. So it's a lot lesser about the income that they make. Yes, they can still make the dividends and so on and so forth, but it's a lot more about the value that they can potentially make out of it. Okay. So when you are looking to pitch, just be aware that the first step is strategic positioning, creativity, first step, and the second step, or not the second step, but the second thing within that pitching is the value you bring on the table. Okay. Unless you're bringing substantial value, you will struggle to find investors. And I said substantial. Why did I say substantial? There are lots of people out there bringing a little bit of value. You have to bring substantial value to the table for someone to invest in you, to be able to stand out. Any questions on this point?
Jack, just on the substantial value, speaking for someone who's looking to start from scratch, how do you get to that point where you have enough to then call it substantial?
Okay, here is a story, very quick one, which will give you an understanding of this. I actually went to in fact, I was an organizer on someone else's meeting. He used to be my accountant, and he used to do meetings in London. And normally you'd attract like 100 people in his meetings. So one day he called me up. He said, I have an emergency. Can you go and organize this meeting for me? I said, okay, I'll do it. I went there. It's all about tech. So it was actually a tech-based event. So all the people that you saw there were either aspiring tech entrepreneurs or investors and so on. Okay. So one of the guys that I spoke with, in fact, two partners, I spoke with them and I could see the passion and excitement, and, you know, they have a great idea. They're working on it, but I could see that, you know, still very new in their journey and don't have much understanding of the persuasive communication or how they're ever going to pitch their idea. Okay. And I remember at that time, I mean, this is good about 7 years ago, maybe, or 8 years ago. And I said to them, I said, you know, and that's where the substantial value comes in. For someone who's still new to all of this, I would recommend to bring someone on board who is more experienced and more influential as a partner. And you don't have to give them lots of shares. You only have to give them a very small percentage, sometimes even 1 or 2%. Okay? Because remember, substantial value comes from experience. And unfortunately, those who are new to this, to their journey, they're going to struggle with that. So I would, in that case, recommend to bring someone who is more experienced and more influential, both actually, not just one. Because if you bring someone who's more experienced, yes, you'll get the experience, but you won't benefit from the influence. I would recommend to bring someone who has more experience and more influence, because that way you can leverage on their influence as well, and give them shares. So even if you give them, let's say, 1% shares of the company, and have them as a non-exec board of director, that they can potentially bring that substantial value. Does that make sense? Mazi, you're mute, so that's your question.
Yeah, sorry. So
okay,
you're actually leveraging on someone else's.
You need to leverage, yes, because if you're new to the journey, unfortunately, pitching is again another skill that you're not going to learn in a short period of time. Go ahead, Lavanya. Sorry, you were saying something?
Nothing, Jack. No, I said yes, I understand. That's okay.
So if you don't have that, you do need to bring someone on board. And like I said, in most cases, non-exec board directors, people who are more influential and more experienced, will come on board for 1% share, or maximum 2%. Okay, don't give away your company shares too easily. That's another one in the midst of that. But if you need to bring someone more experienced who can bring that, you know, persuasion skills or the experience or the value that you'd want on board, that don't hesitate to bring someone on that. Okay, and like I said, this is not something you will learn in 6 months. It's a lifetime skill, and it takes, my understanding is, it takes about 10 years. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong. I have not seen anyone who can learn these skills in a short period of time. Okay, does that answer your question well enough?
Yeah, absolutely, it does. It's just a thought process really for someone who's starting. I think it's a good shout. Cheers.
Again, a lot of people approach, you know, the more experienced guys because they look for experience. A lot of people don't look for influence. You must always look for influence as well in this day and age. And they bring partners because they want investment as well. So you can actually do 3 things at the same time. But if they don't bring any investment, but they bring the experience and influence, then don't give them any more than 1 or 2%. 2% to the max, 1% is more average. Okay. So yes, substantial value is where it stands, and you need to bring substantial value to stand out. Otherwise, you don't stand a chance. Okay. Within the same context, remember, in this day and age that we live in, the social media world that we live in, you are first in media business before you are in any other business. So if you are in, let's say, service accommodation business, Mazi, First, you are in media business. Later, you are in service accommodation business. Okay. That's how the world is turning out to be. Does that make sense? Okay. You have to create your personal brand. You need to create your personal brand. That would be better words. Okay. Otherwise, you will not be able to leverage that for your other brands, if I may say so. Does that make sense?
The personal brand actually sells the rest of the business, doesn't it?
That's right, yes.
Yeah.
So in most cases, you're going to observe these days that everything actually is based on your personal brand, and then you build kind of on top of each other. Okay. In fact, a good example was this message this morning that I sent in the group, right? My tech consulting that I'm trying to build on top of PEN, right? So it's all based on personal brand. So make sure that when I say you're first in the media business, which means that you should be really posting all the time, you should be creating content all the time, you should be connecting with people all the time, you should be networking all the time. I shouldn't actually use the word should. It's more like you must, because if you're not, then you are gonna be out of business. I promise you that. Okay, you will go out of business. That's the day and age we live in. It's social media age, and if you are not out there, people don't know who you are. Why would they do business with you? In fact, a lot of people these days check on you as soon as they speak, and you tell them, "Oh, I'm Muzzy." The next thing they do is they go on LinkedIn and Facebook and check on your profile. And if you're not there and you're not regularly posting, well, you don't exist. Okay, unless you're the chairman of a listed company and you don't need to, or you're a managing director of a listed company. In fact, even those guys need to. The mayor of London needs to post. Okay, so you really need to post these days to be able to stand out and scale. It's very, very simple. You know, you see Boris Johnson posting all the time. In fact, let me tell you a quick story. So it gives you a very good example, right? I was actually with one of our clients was an MP, a Minister of Parliament of India. And the day the elections were won, and some of the Indians would know this, the day elections were won by the existing Prime Minister Modi, that MP was with me and he was from the same party. And before it was even publicly announced, I knew that the elections were won by a certain person, which is Mr. Modi, right? The Prime Minister of India. Now, this guy he was actually with me for a good few days. And they said that the elections won by Barack Obama and the elections won by Mr. Modi, the digital agency behind these two are the same company. And they are purely won on the basis of digital strategy. So the previous President Barack Obama and the existing Prime Minister of India won their elections based on their digital strategy. And I don't know if you guys know Brian Rose from London Real. Anyone knows here? Brian Rose from London Real. He's standing for the Mayor of London. Full digital strategy. Everything that he's doing to be a Mayor of London is based on digital strategy. Okay. So if you are not ready to play that media game, you're going to be left out, unfortunately. Okay. So irrespective of who you are, and you see Boris Johnson or Sadiq Khan, or you see the prime ministers of countries and the managing directors of larger corporations these days posting. Okay. The only people that I don't see posting in this day and age is the chairmen of listed companies, because I think they don't need to. Okay. Or I don't see ambassadors of different countries. I don't see them being available because they're the diplomats, right? They don't need to be in public eye. Those are the two people that I don't see posting. Other than that, I see pretty much everyone posting. CEOs of larger companies, managing directors of larger companies, to smaller companies, to medium-sized companies. Pretty much everyone out there is playing the media game. And unless, like I said, if you don't get your first pillar right, your strategic positioning, you're just not going to be able to stand out in the media as well. For you to be able to stand out in the media, you need to have the right strategic positioning. Okay.
Just thinking on that one, actually, Jack, the ones that you've mentioned are not or don't need to post. I suppose to a certain extent, they're in a position where, like, the media itself posts for them, if that
For
makes
them,
sense.
yes. That's right. Yes.
They're talked
Yes.
about,
Exactly.
and they don't
Exactly.
need to.
They don't need to. Yes. So if you see a diplomat not available on LinkedIn, in fact, I actually checked on a couple of diplomats. They're not on LinkedIn. I was surprised, but I think the reason they don't need to is because they're diplomats, right? The word diplomats in and itself. And you're right. The chairmen of listed companies, they don't need to because they're always in the news, right? As soon as they come out, they're being chased by paparazzis, or as soon as they do something or say something, they're being written about in the news media. So they don't actually need to. Okay. But I do believe that even chairmen of listed companies, I believe they need to. If they want to increase the value of their company and shares of the company, they need to. You see the likes of Elon Musk, he doesn't need to, right? He still does. He turned up on the Joe Rogan show, right? I don't know if you guys know, but he turned up on the Joe Rogan show, a podcast. Okay. He still does, because Tesla spends very little money on marketing. And that's exactly the reason Elon Musk needs to be in news all the time. Okay. And he always is. Okay. Does that help you with the second layer, which is being able to bring value and being, getting your strategic positioning right, as well as bringing substantial value, strategic positioning, and being actually on the media all the time because you're in media business first. Okay. Everyone clear on that? I remember some of you might be thinking, oh, what do I post? Okay. What do I post? What do I write? Well, just write some encouraging stuff. Let's put it this way. Go and motivate people out there, because in most cases, you're not motivating. You're motivating people later. You're motivating yourself first. Okay. You're inspiring yourself first. So go and just say some encouraging words to people. Let's start with that and just see where you go from that point. Okay. In most cases, if you see me, Muzzy, and Harry having fun, Jasim joins us occasionally. If you see us having fun, what do we talk about? Just general stuff, right? What's happening in life. And if you tell us a story, human nature is connected to stories, right? We listen to stories. If you go and tell a story, people will listen. I try and thread things into stories every now and then. I tell you a story. Why do I do that? Because people listen to stories. People like listening to stories. People want to know the behind the scenes of what's happening, right? This is the funny, nosy human nature. Okay. We always want to know what's happening behind the doors of this person. Okay. Especially certain people. Okay. So go and tell stories. Go and tell stories about yourself. You can always make it personal and not so personal at any given time. You can be very creative with that. Okay. Any questions so far on 2 pillars? Good stuff. The third pillar is your marketing and, again, strategic skills. When I say marketing and strategic skills, some of you might have seen the front and back end products, the value ladders. Some of you might have seen all those videos. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Raise your hand if you've not seen the videos based on front end and back end products. Raise your hand if you don't know what it means. Okay, so seems like everyone knows here. Okay, that's a good thing. I'm glad. So you got to have the front end product, which is free. You got to have the back end products, which you can monetize. If you see the likes of, how does this apply in property? Let's take that. Okay, let's take this one. Let's say Muzzy, right? Let's say you create content. People get attracted to you. They come and want to see how you run your business. Okay, maybe they buy one of your deals, back-end product, so that the front end, they're watching your free videos, you're creating content. At the back end, you're selling them a deal, you're selling them a deal plus mentoring package, which I observed yesterday, day before. Okay, or at some point, maybe your back end could be invest in my business. It could be invest in a development deal later. It could be any of that. Does that make sense? Front and back end, very, very simple. If you look at PEN, let me give you an example on PEN. At the front end, there's loads of trainings for free, events for free, there's loads of free stuff. At the back end, there is the inner circle, there's ad space, we do property, property finance, property deals. we provide architecture services, planning services. We provide the reps model. We provide mentoring. There's a whole range of other services, right? And now I'm bringing into all of this my personal consulting of technology. Yeah. But at the front end, if you see, I provide guides for free. I provide spreadsheets for free. There's loads of content going out. You go on YouTube channel. There's hundreds of hours of content you can watch for absolutely free. All of that is front-end products. At the back end, you have as little as, in fact, there is layers and there's layers between PE, and I don't know if anyone has observed that, right? I have an affiliate program people can join and they can recommend us business, absolutely free to join. You have the inner circle, very little money to join, and then a little more, and so on and so forth, right? It's all about that. And then at the back end of all of that, there's another layer, which is we provide services, right? Property finance, property sourcing, all of that. Multiple layers within layers. That's your front end, back end, and that's your value ladders. And that's not just a one value ladder, you have multiple ladders. And then within that, you create content and you create touch points to bring traffic and bring people and bring network into it. Does that make sense? Everyone clear on that? Because I've covered this a few times. I just went through it very, very quickly. But that's your third pillar. Okay. If so far you have not started your own inner circle, and Muzzy and Harry have, okay, you can see they've started a group called Me Grow, right? If you haven't started your inner circle, whatever you want to call it, you are missing out, right? You could be sitting on £500,000, £1 million cash. You're going to run out of that money, and you're going to run out of that money very, very soon in property, okay? And you're going to need investors. And when you start needing investors, that's what you need to create, your own inner circle, okay? Raise your hand if you know what I mean, okay? Yes, you can use this family. We are already a part of family, but you want to create another family of your own end as well. Don't hesitate doing that. You're going to need loads more people, okay? 100 people isn't going to suffice you. I think there is between the inner, I actually counted this morning, between the inner circle, the affiliate program that we have, the referral program, and the reps group, we have 125 people, okay? But you're going to need 1,000. You're going to need more people, okay? So don't hesitate to start to create your own inner circle. Like I said, you're going to run out of money, even if you have loads of money sitting around, very, very quickly. Yes, you will create your income. Yes, you will have the portfolio, but you'd want to create a bigger one. You'd want to grow more, okay? Raise your hand if you know what I mean. Any questions so far? Any questions based on this? You are missing out massively if you haven't started your inner circle, okay? I cannot recommend you enough, okay? I'm expecting a free seat in there, okay? But I'm keeping fingers crossed that over a period of time that every single one of you will start your own inner circle, will start to bring that value to people, and then you start to nurture those relationships so they could invest with you. Does that make sense? I said with you and not on you. There's a major difference, okay? That's your third pillar. So your marketing and strategic skills is your third pillar. And your fourth pillar is your leadership. Now, I have covered leadership in a few other sessions, one specifically, but other sessions as well. But in some of those sessions, I shared the perspective of different people as well. This time, I'm actually going to share my perspective on leadership, my personal perspective, okay? I believe that as a leader, if you are not able to inspire, I didn't use motivate. Motivational is external. I said inspire, that's internal. Inspiring someone to a point where they achieve their highest potential. If you haven't learned that skill, you're not an effective leader. If you cannot help people see their potential that they haven't seen in themselves, so it's almost like, Muzzy, help me out here, okay? I met you some time ago, or I've met you quite a few times, but when I met you, I saw potential. And I see potential in everyone with a lot of respect. But let's say when I met you in your context, I saw potential. and I ask you questions. In many cases, I don't tell you, I ask you questions, right? I asked you questions, and did those questions help you create a long-term vision for yourself?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did that happen in your mind? Please explain in your words.
Yeah. So in terms of that, I remember a specific conversation where you were talking about my 20-year vision. Okay. So instead of saying you need to have a vision for 20 years, you are asking me, what is your 20-year vision? And I remember actually saying, well, that's too far away. But you, in just that conversation, it just got me thinking on, rather than, okay, I just want to invest in property and do something with it and just get some money to come through. What is the plan? What is the long-term plan? And then start making the actions now. It kind of makes me come up with the plan rather than have someone hand out the plan to me. So in asking those questions, I think that the inspiration was on what can I do for myself using the people that I can find around me and the knowledge to get that plan to get into action.
Did that conversation help you have more clarity and a day-to-day action to get to your next level?
So initially, no, it initially made me realize that I'm thinking of things the wrong way. Yeah. It then inspired me to start finding that clarity on, okay, what is it that am I supposed to be aiming for, and how can I then do it? So it decluttered my mind, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So
So clarity.
Yeah.
Clarity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where it was at.
Okay. So again, why did I ask you this question? We all need to become effective leaders by helping others get more, not just get more clarity, but be able to see their own potential themselves. And not just help them see their own potential, but help them achieve their potential. That is the job of the most effective leader. And within that context, I come in from the perspective of, I don't want to be known for it. Okay, I honestly don't. I may unfortunately get known for it, but that would be unfortunate for me because we funnily live in a media age, okay? But I don't want to be known for it. I just want to inspire people and help people achieve their potential. And if I can in some way collaborate with them, helping me achieve my potential, remember, I am involving as well. While I'm collaborating with Muzzy, does that help me achieve my own personal potential? That's what I call effective leadership. Besides the fact that you need to be more innovative and more creative, besides the fact that you need to learn how to raise funds, be able to, like more persuasive communication, being able to pitch people, being able to work with integrity, being able to, have the marketing and strategic skills. And then within that context, lead effectively, helping people achieve their, not just their potential, but create a dream life at the back end of it. If you see me, I start my interviews by saying, welcome to the JD show. The aim of this show is to help you create a dream life, or implement to help you create a dream life, right? If you look at all these 4 pillars, the aim is to help you create your dream life, help you like literally have that certainty, have that variety, have that significance, contribution, love and connection, and all of that. It's all about, and I want to repeat that because it's very important, right? It's all about helping you see, getting certainty in life, see, being able to make enough money, getting the variety, so exposing you to the creative side of life, or variety in different things that I can help you with. Significance, being in the media business, getting that significance, because we all need to be known for something. We have this inherent need in us to be known for something, okay? That you get that. that way you get your love and connection. And I talk about this stuff, right? That if you give love without expectations, that you'll get love. That's the way it is, right? And growth and contribution, right? An effective leader is when someone can help you fulfill all of these 6 needs while helping you achieve your potential, helping you create a business, helping you create that amazing life. Okay? That is who I would call an effective leader. Am I a good one? The answer is probably not yet. Okay? I am trying my level best to get there. Okay? But that's where it stands. It's almost like, you know, you need to have a business that's paying you well. You need to have that variety. That means you can go on holidays without having to worry about money. You can spend time with your family without having to worry about stuff. All of that plays a major part in a leader to be able to create that for you in some directly or indirectly, in either a direct way or an indirect way. Does that make sense? Okay. Anyone has any questions so far? Okay. So just so you know, guys, this is my next book. Okay. I'm writing a book based on these 4 pillars. I'm going to share as many stories as I can based on examples on this formula that I have come up with. But I just wanted to come and share this here because people look at business. Business is just a very small part of your life. Okay. A major part of your life is your thinking pattern that allows you to have an amazing life. You know, how many people do you know you speak with that actually are not present in the moment? Raise your hand. You speak with people and you know this guy is thinking of something else. Okay. Like literally there are so many people. They are living a life where they don't exist. It's like life is passing by. Okay. Just don't be one of them. Be present in this moment, every moment, because this is your life and you're not living that life if you're not present in this moment. Okay. Listen, observe. When you're sharing something, share it with all your heart. Okay. When you're helping people, help with all your heart. Don't be stingy. Don't be greedy. Don't have alternative of trying to make money. Don't. Share with all your heart. I promise you it will come back. You will be surprised. It does come back. I'm a very good example for you. Okay. Like literally it comes back. Every time I go and share something with people, the next thing I hear is they've recommended my name to someone else. I have a friend, and funny story. I have a friend I've known since the age of 4 and 5. Okay. We are both in our 40s, early 40s. Okay. I speak with him like once in a year, not even that. I keep getting calls from people that, you know, he recommended your name. Why? He doesn't have to. I'll tell you why he's doing that. Because he's watching my videos on YouTube. He's watching all the content that I'm creating. A very, very good friend, like a friend that you've had since the age of 4 and 5. Okay. But he's observing my journey. He's watching the videos. He's telling people that, look, I have a friend. He's amazing. He'll be able to help you out. And people come to me and say, can you help with finance? Can you help with property side? Can you share with us your experience? All of a sudden, I'm literally like, I keep getting calls. My phone, you know, sometimes I share with you, my phone doesn't stop. It's because I literally share with people with zero expectations. I'm present in the moment. When I speak with people, I'm literally present in the moment. In my 20s, I promise you, I was never present. I always used to worry and always used to think of what I need to do next. Well, why am I not doing the thing that I'm doing right now well? Okay. Very, very important. Don't just be the person who is looking at life passing by. Okay. Be present here. Okay. Again, why am I sharing all this? Thinking pattern, guys. When you're present in this moment, you can be very, very creative. You can be very creative. But if you're not present in the moment, you cannot be creative at all because you're thinking of the next task. Okay. I promise you one thing, when you start implementing all of this, 4 pillars, I'm going to repeat again. The first pillar is your creativity, your innovation. So what you bring, your strategic positioning on your product or service, irrespective of what you're working on, it can be applied on property. And then the second is pitching. That means being able to raise funds. The third is your marketing and strategic skills. So remember, you're in the media business first. And then fourth is your leadership skills, being able to help people reach their potential, being able to help them see what they cannot see, their ability, their potential that they cannot see, you help them see it. But remember, before you do that, you need to see your own potential. You need to try and reach your own potential. Okay? You cannot help see someone else's potential if you're not able to see yourself. Okay? It's very, very difficult. Okay? It can be done simultaneously, but at the same time, the first step is for you to see your own potential. Okay? 4 pillars is what it stands on. And I assure you, those 4 pillars, with the combination of what you learn from Tony Robbins, and if you haven't attended Unleash Your Power Within, these days the tickets are like $100 or $200 for their online version. I would heavily recommend you to attend that. It will change your life. Okay? Tony Robbins is really, really good. They will literally teach you these 6 things pretty much the 2 or 3 days, really. Certainty, variety, significance, contribution, love and connection, and so those 6 things. But the 4 pillars that I have actually stand before that. It actually stands on what Tony Robbins teaches. Okay, but if you build these 4 pillars on top of that, you can have an absolutely amazing life. Amazing life. Any questions? You can have loads when you start to implement all of this. Okay, when you start to implement, you'd be like, well, what do I do? Do I pay my bills, or do I start investing in technology? Do I pay my bills, or do I start investing in people? Do I pay my bills, or do I start training people? You'll have tons of questions. Okay, but don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll just share with you what I know. Okay, like I said, I am an evolving person. I am learning as we speak a lot, but I can share with you that these 4 pillars are literally coming from my own personal experience. And within these, every pillar or every pillar that you see, you're going to see multiple layers or subcategories of things that you're going to come across that you need to deal with. Okay. That is today's session. Thank you for watching.